hello. We're the audio team. I guess that's why you're here. We have a slideshow, but we don't. So we're going to start with a song. Has anybody got any requests?
Sea Shanty 2.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do Sea Shanty 2.
Is everyone okay with that?
Let us know if our performance is as good as the Royal Philharmonic last night. Can I tell you about the Royal Philharmonic? They didn't see that music before they played it last night. They literally played it without... Well, they did one rehearsal and then they played it. So, amazing musicians. This is Sea Shanty 2. Take it away, Mr. Mandolin. So RuneScape's got how many tracks now? We're in the Guinness Book of Records for, it was 1,198, but now I think we're up to 1,200 and ish. Thank you, Eric. The very first song for RuneScape that was ever written was written by this man to my right of me, Ian, and that was Harmony. And you wrote it how long ago?
16 years ago.
16 years ago.
Still fresh today.
So how did it sound hearing the Royal Philharmonic play Harmony last night? Amazing. Right. Well, we're gonna murder it now. So this is Harmony. We're winging this. I think one of my favourite songs from RuneScape is Autumn Voyage. So we're going to play it, and what's that?
Oh, no, so I'm just like squeaking my feet on the chair, and then I realised that my mic is right next to the chair.
Oh, okay. You can tell he's a sound designer, can't you? We'll record this. So we're going to do Autumn Voyage, and we'll give it a little twist like you've never heard it before, or will never want to hear it again.
It's serious now.
Okay, you ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. What shall we do now? Talk. I'll pass the mic to Ian. Let me introduce my team. I'm Mod Lord. I run the audio department, so everything that comes out of Jagex audio-wise is my fault, including yesterday, which was a more of a success than most things that we do. So here we have Mod Surma, hello, Mod Ian, Mod Grace, and Mod Slippers. Mod Slippers because his first day at work, he shuffled across the department wearing slippers like he'd been there all his life. I'm going to pass the microphone to Mod Ian because he likes to talk.
And I'm the one that's got a sore throat. So thank you for coming. Any questions? Bye. No, so, well, I've been at Jagex quite a long time now, and, you know, I've seen the team grow, and things develop from, you know, what they were a long time ago with the real simple tunes to the kind of stuff that we've got now. And, you know, I just want to say thanks to, like, all you players, community, because, you know, without you guys kind of listening to the music, giving us the comments and playing the game, you know, we wouldn't have a job, we wouldn't have to be able to do the things that we, you know, love doing at the end of the day. So, you know, big round of applause for the players and the community from our team. Thank you, please.
Just to say that last night for the audio team was a huge thing. We've been planning it since I had a kind of drunken conversation with one of the execs after last year's RuneFest on the night, and like, let's do an orchestra next year. And so here we are with the Royal Philharmonic. It's been a huge amount of work, but for the audio team, you know, we have quite an extraordinary soundtrack, and we thought it was about time the rest of the world sort of heard it. So this year has been a priority in getting our stuff out commercially. So we have, if my glamorous assistant could show me here, we have some new releases coming out. We have, actually, these are the vinyls. They're the only 2 copies in existence at the moment. There we go. So it's a huge milestone for us. These are coming out November, December. You did a brilliant job there. Thank you. And there'll be more to come. So we're on Spotify, iTunes, and CD, and we're going to be doing lots more. We're thinking maybe a Boss collection next of old school and new stuff as well. Lots of stuff on Spotify. There seems to be a huge demand, and it's just taken us a while to do it. But we've done it properly. And like the old school MIDI stuff, we actually had it professionally remastered, so it sounds as clear and crisp as it's ever sounded. Anybody else would like to say?
It's a 15-year-old sound card from a computer. Well, I think I should pass over to... Who would you like to hear from next? I think we should maybe listen to Mod Grace and a little bit of her history. I think we should all give a little bit of our... Yeah, I think we've all got a little part to play in RuneScape music and stuff like that. So I'm going to pass to you now.
Thanks very much. Hello. Yeah, well, I've been at Jagex for about 10 years now, so I think the first thing I worked on was Spirit of Summer Part 2.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, which was the big fight thing. Everything's a big fight thing in RuneScape, right? I mean...
a big fight or a big grind.
It's going to be that. I think the most fun that I've had this year with RuneScape stuff was stuff for the Pirate Quest, the Pirate Finale. You all played that? Because, I got to write a piece of music for a marching crab, which was quite a surprise, because we didn't know we needed to write that track. All I was just reading through the scripts, and then there was a note from the developer that said, "Hello, audio, can I have a piece of crab marching music in here, please, for this cutscene?" It's like, okay, we'll try and fit that and make that work.
That was really funny, because we used to just march up and down the corridor singing it to Grace. But
this is the thing. Our day jobs are so fun. We don't know what we're doing most days, because it could be absolutely anything. It could be marching crabs. It could be underwater boss fights. It could be some mystical island that's just appeared out of nowhere, or a different ethereal plane. We have no idea. But it just makes our lives so much fun, because especially when we're writing music, our music styles are, I'm going to say, varied. And also that kind of feeds into RuneScape music quite a lot. It's quite varied as well. So hence there's a lot of different styles of music in RuneScape. But I think because the aesthetic with RuneScape is quite varied, it all kind of fits together in its own unique way, which I think gives it quite a unique appeal. But yeah.
So we're responsible for music, sound design, and voiceover in both games. Obviously, no voiceover in old school. But recently we've dusted off the old school tools, so we've been writing a lot of new old school music. But also we've been revisiting voiceover lately. I think there's a reveal at 5 o'clock. But oh yeah. But we've been doing some beautiful new voiceover for the game, and I think it's like it adds an extra level of immersion to the experience. So. Oh, have they? They've mentioned it. Okay, that's fine. Play it when it comes out because I think it's. Can we say it? It's called the Needle Skips. It's a new piece of content, and I think from an audio perspective, it really shows off what we can do. A lot of nice music by Grace over there, and we've been into a studio and recorded some new voiceover for it. So it's really cool. Shall we play a song? Does anybody know Al Kharid? Okay, we'll do that then.
Everyone's paid their 10 GP, Steve.
We're going to do it Spanish style. I've just decided. Ian's on the cajon here.
Yeah, this wooden box.
Okay, ready? Something like that, anyway. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I was wondering if, like, the whole orchestra thing, is it just a RuneFest thing, or do you actually...
It's like just for the recording.
Yeah, of course. So, like, the orchestra thing, is that for RuneFest particularly, or is it actually part of the game, sort of evolution of the game music?
Well, obviously, a lot of the music is already in there. A lot of the stuff on the new soundtrack will end up in the game. It'll be in menus or big pieces in the game. It's kind of a lot of the new orchestral music that we did at Abbey Road is really sort of for the future, for the next sort of few years, ideas and new themes that we can build on. So while some of the stuff feels new and fresh, it will become quite familiar to you in time. As for this, like RuneScape Live yesterday, it'd be nice to go and do it again. That's kind of, we kind of set a nice template so that we could maybe go to Royal Albert Hall and do it, or Sydney Opera House, something like that. My friend in the red jumper over there.
Thank you, Steve. I had a question. Grace mentioned the fact that she was asked to create music out of nowhere in the corridor. My question was to be, how free are you to do whatever music you want? Do you have some rules that you abide to say this is RuneScape music like? And even if you have that, are developers sometimes coming back to you and say, this doesn't fit, I don't like this music, could you redo it? Or are you completely free?
Oh, Ashton wants it.
I speak. I think the fact that RuneScape encompasses so many different styles of music, and I'm sure you all agree with that. Like you've got everything from like a kind of Arabic dance tune to a lullaby that we played, and then like some Latin music, like dubstep, exactly. Like RuneScape music. There's no such thing as RuneScape music. It's just music. Essentially. So, in that sense, like it's quite hard to get it wrong. But also, I mean, I think my perspective on it is that essentially, like, we often think from the outside that when you're creating music for something, you have to get it to fit. That you have this thing here, and then I have to create something that fits with that. Whereas actually, I think the process is quite different, because what happens is you get your brief, you get your quest, you get your art, you get your story, your characters, and then you create something that goes alongside that, and then together those things combine to create something new, which is the complete product. It's the overarching theme, and that will change depending on what you've created. And so it's a case of you combine your work, your audio work, with the visuals and the story and the gameplay and everything like that. And it's like, what is that end product that we've made, and is that in line with what we intended? So it's essentially the same thing, but it's another way of sort of coming at it. But I think it's really hard. It's actually a lot easier than you think to get it right, because the spectrum of what kind of works within the RuneScape environment is very broad.
Sometimes we do get sort of direction from developers if they have a specific theme in mind. Like when we did Solak, developer on that had very definite ideas about what he wanted. Also for the voice talent on that, we had Doug Cockle, who plays Witcher character, and Viva, who plays her story. So we had some. He was quite definite about the sort of voices that he wanted and the style of music. But you kind of interpreted that and took it in your own direction as well. Yeah,
a lot of the time that thing is, because as audio people, that we have the vocabulary to talk about what we want, and so our job in a lot of ways is to listen to what other people are saying in various different ways, and just try and translate that into audio language, and to say, so like Solak's a really good example. So Kyle gave me a huge playlist of stuff, and he was like, I want something like this and something like this, something like this, and the first track sounded completely different to the second track. It sounded completely different to the third track, and so it was a case of sitting down and saying, okay, what is it from this track that you like and that reflects what you're after? Because this one's really slow, and then this one's really big and dramatic, and what is it? And then so gradually over, if you can get a good dialogue with the developer, then you can unpick, what that vision is, and then you can sort of rebuild it together as you work on the process. And then there's also I think we all work quite iteratively as well. We all I think it's a mistake as a composer to sort of write a whole symphony, that lasts 2 hours or something, and then check in with the developer and say, "What do you reckon? Is that any good?" You kind of you check in as you go. You say, "Oh, what do you think of these themes?" Or what do you think? And although essentially we take responsibility for how it sounds at the end of the day, and our judgment is trusted, and that's one of the things really empowering about our department. But we have that dialogue all the way through, and we try to encourage people to listen all the way through the process, which really helps to to create it.
Anyone else?
So all of you, what's your favourite track? Oh, hello. So all of you, what's your favourite track? What's your favourite track you've written?
Silence.
Okay. I think my favourite track is going to have to be the Waterfall suites, the Waterfall tracks. I do. I think, being a RuneScape player myself, fishing to them was just remarkably pleasant. And the ones I've written, do we have any RuneScape players? RuneScape 3, not old school. Yep. Has anyone been on Player in Farms recently? I adore my... I was being really modest, isn't it, really? But I don't know if you happen to if you've listened to them, great. If you haven't, I encourage you to do so. But my Granny Potterington tune, it's got some nice whistling in, which features all of us, actually. But yeah, we that's it. I won't try and whistle here because I'll probably fuck it up or whatever. But yeah.
How much tuning did you have to do on those whistles?
Oh, not much. Not much auto-tune at all. It was fantastic. But yeah, Waterfall and Granny Potterington. Miss Granny Potterington, that is.
Favourite song? I think there's a song from 2012 called Sunrise. It's just a really beautiful, pretty song. It was named after a friend of mine, and it's just a really beautiful, poignant moment, so I've always adored that. As far as things I've written, I always end up writing all the comedy stuff, like silly videos and shanty songs and things like that. I guess I did Book of 1,000 Songs. Went in Through the Willows, maybe, is if it's sung at a pitch where everybody else can sing it, because I tend to write things that people can't sing very well. So maybe as popularity is concerned, maybe Book of 1,000 Songs.
Home Sweet Home? No, I like the really quirky stuff as well. I've probably played Harmony, Sea Shanty and all those ones enough now, I think, for me to last me a couple of lifetimes, a couple of millennium. So, but I like the really quirky stuff. I like some of the Keldegrim stuff, and anything that's just a little bit kind of weird, and then that definitely appeals to me, because it's just interesting,
So I guess probably background. That one, because glass blowing is what I remember of background quite a lot. But it's just a really nice, gentle track. For me, with mine, I think it's probably going to be one of the Lost Grove tracks. So probably Memories of the Grove, just because, again, it was the same developer of Solak, actually. He had a very clear vision on what he wanted. So that track particularly, I only wrote in a day, but it just set the mood really nicely. And the developer came in and sat with it, and he was just like, yeah, leave it, don't add anything else, don't fix any mistakes, just leave it as it is. And we did. So it was only a short piece of music, but it was just a really quick one, but it worked quite well.
My favourite RuneScape track is Sea Shanty 2. I think that's, yeah. Because it's just great. And it's one of those things that you don't have to be a RuneScape player to sort of really appreciate how brilliant that melody is. My partner, my fiance, she doesn't play any games at all. She doesn't, she didn't know anything about RuneScape until I started, working at Jagex or anything like that. But she still whistles Sea Shanty 2 all the time. I showed it to her, and she just can't get it out of her head. It really is a work of art. I think a work of very, very catchy art. And the melody is, it is more complicated than you think it is. Like I actually had to sit there and score it out. I couldn't just play it off the hoof. I had to work it all out because it changes, in certain places that you don't realise when you just listen to it. So Sea Shanty 2 for sure. And my favourite thing that I've written was probably Seryu's Deliverance from Temple of Amanishi. Just because it was a complete riot to write, really.
Not Chaos of Corruption, then.
Not Chaos of Corruption, no. I wrote. We were working on the has anyone played the Temple of Amanishi? So we were working on the final boss, and we created 2 pieces of music for that, and one of them was just kind of like this wild sort of Javanese gamelan piece, and that was kind of quite fitting with the Amanishi thing, and then the other one was just like a big load of noise as the as the rift opens and all the souls come out and stuff, and it was just meant to sort of be noise really, but it ended up going on YouTube as a piece of music. And it's quite funny. It's it's really controversial. Like people it's got way more dislikes than it has likes. It's quite funny. It's a Marmite one, yeah. But and then we were Ian and I were talking. We were just like. What I think we need a theme. We need something to go at the end here that's not just noise and it's not just gamelan, but really. So I just sort of wrote this track, and it was just the idea was just chuck everything in there. A big melody, a load of horns, a guitar solo. Just have everything. Here you go. It was really fun.
The subtitles for Chaos of Corruption on YouTube are pretty.
Shall we play a song? Let's try barbarianism. Does everybody know how barbarianism goes? Can you join in? Yeah, that's very people would like to join in. What's that? Right.
You'll notice when you have to join in, we'll try and
We're not famous for our singing.
Funnily enough, no.
Take it away, Mr. Kahan. Right.
Thank
Actually, I've got a quick question. If there's one thing that you'd like to hear say added to RuneScape, what would it be? Anyone got any ideas?
More brass instruments.
More brass. What, you mean like a brass band or some solos? That is a great idea. Actually, you're the second person today that's talked about that.
I actually had, I had an idea of like making a RuneScape brass band.
Mod Lord, we need to buy a tuba, a bassoon, a trumpet, a cornet.
I reckon what we should do is like go up north, so like where there's like a mining band or something, and just hire them in. That'd be brilliant.
What would you like to see removed or cut off or changed or sort of, culled as much as possible? What really annoys you with the audio? Nothing. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, they do need to be changed, and that's definitely on the cards. That we'd like to do a program of that. So, if there's any people want to audition for that, we can stab you. Thank you. Is that it? Thanks ever so much, everyone.
We've got 5 minutes, so we're going to finish. You know how amazing it sounded when the Royal Philharmonic came in with the RuneScape theme? Well, we'll do our version of the RuneScape theme and see if we can compete. We're still working this out, though.